Hi folks, fixerover.com Q&A time. Question, what's the best way to manage process improvement in my business? That's a two-stage answer. The first one of which is knowing which processes you need to focus on, and then having a simple technique which will allow you to improve each particular one. The first stage is basically about looking at the processes which you've got within your business, the role that they play in basically making your business happen, and the metrics that we want to use. A business is basically a large engine. Okay, so if you imagine it almost like, the engine underneath a sports car bonnet, what we want to do is basically have a series of gauges that allows us to monitor what each particular section is doing. Because most of a job, especially if you're managing, parts of a business, it's about growing, but it's also about firefighting. So you need to know where to divert your resources. Okay, so what you do is we map out our business flow. So if you've got a department, you might just want to map the flows within that department. If you're basically in charge of the business, you want to do the whole thing. The level of granularity that you take this to depends on how complicated your business is, and also how deeply underlying the problems are. But let's say, for instance, you've got marketing, you've got sales, okay? So like at a 40,000 foot view, if you like, we're then saying, right, okay, so how is this overall thing performing? Where do we need to pay our attention? And so we've got a way of doing that. So the way that we teach people to do it is we basically look at flow, we look at efficiency, and we look at variance. And what that basically says is, so if you imagine that you've got a business where things are flowing through it, be they customers, orders, money, events, bookings, reservations, whatever it is that kind of flows through the veins of your business, if you like. And then at each particular key stage, we then say, right, how much is coming through from the stuff that's upstream of us? How efficient are we? So for instance, with the sales team, it's like, how many leads are they getting? That's their flow. Their efficiency, how are they doing in terms of conversion? Okay, their variance, how are they doing in comparison to last month? Okay, so those are the three figures that we use. We'll show you inside how to calculate all of those. What we then do is, what that does is that basically creates our dashboards, it creates our warning lights, so we can see, right, where are we not particularly efficient, and also where are we getting better or where are we getting worse. So that then allows us to focus our efforts so that when we're doing the process improvement, we know that we're improving the most important processes. Okay, so we always start on the worst ones just to make sure that we're kind of like stopping that rot. Okay, then when it comes to saying, right, okay, so let's say that, marketing, their efficiency is not particularly good, but their variance is getting better, so they are improving. The sales guys, they had quite high efficiency, but they appear to be dropping off the planet. We say, right, okay, now we need to do some work on those guys. And then in terms of managing the processes, there's a nice little 5-stage technique which we use. It's very, very simple. It's easy to calculate, and it's also easy to explain to the people that you're managing. And then we say, right, so the first one of which is, what's the situation? i.e., what's our baseline? So how are we doing at the moment? What's our vision? What's our target? So where do we want to be? So vision / target. Okay. So that's kind of like the time scale. So let's say that kind of in 6 months we want to be at this. So we want to be at X. We then look at the gap. So basically, what's the difference between the two? Okay, so that basically gives us our improvement target, which we can then kind of plot and then say, right, this is where you need to be, and we can then basically monitor the progress of that to make sure that we're on track. We then look at the strategies which we've got to improve. Whether that's going to be somewhere we're going to be looking at training, we're going to be looking at more effective ways of communicating with our customers' market, we're going to be looking at improving the technologies that we're using, we're going to be looking at maybe hiring and recruiting some better people into those roles. And then we're looking at the actions that come out of this. Okay, now, like I say, all of this stuff, it's not particularly rocket science, but it's very, very powerful tools that we've got here that we've used for the last 20 years, helping people improve their businesses. Like I say, a lot of people have a lot of data coming through. What they don't do is they don't have a lot of information. They don't have it nice and clear. So when they don't have like clear targets and nobody's quite sure what it is they're working towards, using these sorts of techniques, you'll have a very, very good understanding, and it's very, very easy to manage it using those techniques. There's a couple of guides I'd like to recommend for your attention. The first one of which is called our 5-stage step for process improvement. That basically takes you through this within a lot more detail, so you can understand exactly how to apply it, how to create the strategies, how to create the actions. In terms of the strategies and the actions, a lot of those will actually come from other guides within the site as well, in terms of kind of how you improve your sales conversion, how you improve your marketing conversion. And you also want to look at a guide called How to Manage and Monitor Business Performance, which is almost like the stage above that, which then shows you how to basically draw out your business and then monitor those 3 figures and gives you a nice monthly technique whereby you can work out what you need to be focusing on over the next 4 weeks. So I hope that answers some of your questions. Have a look at the guides below, and we will see you very, very soon. If you've got any questions or comments, then drop us an email to support@fixerreview.com. We'd be delighted to hear from you. Best of luck.